Welcome to Big Blend Radio with your hosts, Lisa and Nancy, editors of BigBlendMagazine.com.
Hey everybody, welcome to the latest episodes of the Big Weekly Blend podcast here on Big Blend Radio with your host, Lisa and Nancy. Nancy's the mom, I'm the daughter. And we are sitting in the Boston Mountains of Arkansas on a tiny farm. And there's a storm, so we can't work on our computers. So we thought, let's get our podcast done while we're sitting here. And we're hanging out with two cool dogs.
This is like Green Acres.
It is Green Acres, but we also have Mr. Ed, which is a donkey, not a horse, in the back.
Yeah, he's cool.
His name is Luke, and he's super cool. But we're kind of getting bummed. We've been here for a couple weeks, and now we leave next week. But we go to our friends, the Tiffany's Bed and Breakfast.
Oh, that's cool.
Outside Hot Springs. We're going to play with their cats and Buddy the dog. And they're beautiful.
And they love music, so
and we always get into trouble with them. It's going to happen. We're going to do another interview with them, so you never know what happens. But we love it there. They've got like a log style cabin. I think, it's a bed and breakfast though, but log style.
It's beautiful.
And they're on 60 acres, something like that. Hummingbirds and birds. I mean, that's the thing about Arkansas. There's a tree frog out here, and it's called the bird voice tree frog. It's just under 2 inches. It's tiny, and it's in the beans. It hangs out on the leaf of the bean.
Looks at the frog, and then the frog goes, bird call, bird call. The
Goes
bird
tweet,
goes,
tweet.
oh, that's a bird. I can't eat it.
I don't know. I haven't heard him chirp. And I don't know if it's a girl or a boy or both. I don't know. But I love frogs. And we keep seeing tree frogs everywhere this year, which is awesome.
There's a lot out here.
There's a lot of birds. The birds out here. We're outside Fayetteville, Arkansas. The birds, the robins and warblers and cardinals, and it's extraordinary. Yeah. It is really beautiful. The mockingbirds are having wars. Yeah. Which is cool to watch. But
they remind me of Congress.
Buzzards. Oh, yeah. Oh, speaking of Congress. So, this show, we always look at the week's holidays and pop culture. And so we're doing this all on my phone since there's that storm going over, which hasn't done much yet.
No.
Looked like it was. And anyway, we're still here. So that's a good thing. And halfway through this, it could really just, we could fly off. Who knows? Presidential Joke Day happens this week.
Oh, your best joke about a president.
August 11th. And I just kind of look at them all go, well, there you are. I mean, we don't even have to make jokes.
All you have to do is say the president's
I'm not talking about this president specifically or the one before. I'm not getting into the politics stuff. But I am going to say that they have given comedians so much material over the years that
absolutely
it has been interesting. So I'm not getting political, but on that side, it's pretty funny. And so you could listen to comedians tell jokes about presidents and anything to do with the White House, or and any leader around the world at this point. I'm just saying. And it's also, it's not on the same day, but they should put it on the same day, Prosecco Day. So you could sip Prosecco and
make
laugh.
jokes about presidents.
Yeah. But our main focus from looking at, and I'm reading scribbled down notes, is that this segment, this episode is really focused on 4 main things. Cats.
Cool.
Elephants.
Cool.
Lizards.
Awesome.
And books.
Yeah, there you go.
But there is things like Prosecco Day, Melon Day. We love a good melon.
So do elephants.
Filet mignon day. It's all the same day. So you get to have Prosecco, filet mignon, and dessert is melon. That sounds good.
Yeah. We could do
There
that.
is a National S'mores Day, August 10th.
Cool.
We all like that.
Yeah.
Looking at the food. The food is good. There's some food stuff. Here on the farm, there's an abundance of zucchini. And so you start going, what am I going to do with all of this? And I do love a good zucchini. Today is, not today, August 8th is zucchini. You leave, you sneak zucchini onto your neighbor's porch day. And then the neighbor goes, screw you, I've got so much in my backyard too.
Yeah, I know. It's like
take your zucchini.
Day.
Yeah, but zucchini, I mean, you can make lasagna with it.
Oh, you can make bread.
And use it as a pasta. Or they do those swirlies.
No,
People do the swirlies.
Because we're on a farm where we have abundant zucchinis, I was looking at recipes and I know about zucchini bread, but now there's zucchini coffee bread. No.
Oh, like coffee
apparently-
cake. Coffee cake, not bread. I was going to say.
So it looks really good. It's got like a syrupy topping with walnuts on it.
Ooh.
And it sounds really good. And they toss the zucchinis in fine granulated sugar, and then they add it to the batter. I don't know. It's totally different. It's like, okay.
Hey, but you know what? And we've got some great zucchini recipes as well.
Yeah. Well,
so we'll link that in the show notes, everyone. In the show notes, that's one thing we'll put up on our website on blendradioandtv.com. All the links are in the show notes.
Mm.
We always put links to articles or podcasts that go with the conversation. And we always make a music playlist. And since elephants is part of this, we are playing Nelly the Elephant in our music playlist. Has to happen. We have some lizard songs from ZZ Top. We've got, come on, the Lizard King. So, all right. So the cat thing. So it's really lions that we said, but August 8th is International Cat Day. Okay. So then you move forward. It's also that same day is Scottish Wildcat Day. Think about them. They're almost like Bobcat Lynx. Yeah. And then August 10th is World Lion Day. And we want to protect these babies, right?
Yeah.
And Nancy's history goes back to that. You worked with Joy Adamson. Folks know her from the movie Born Free, Elsa the Lion. It's not it's not the same. But the thing is to let wildlife be wild.
Exactly.
Not caged up and not trophy hunt, not use wildlife as pets. International trafficking of wildlife, all of that stuff needs to go away.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so we take care of them, and lions, if you can see them out in the wild, lions roar. I remember once we were in the Kalahari Desert.
Oh God, that was so cool.
And it actually snowed in the desert, not a big snow, but it was cold. We're like, what? We saw a cheetah, we saw a lion in the snow. But that night we stayed in these little cabins, and it was like a duplex cabin, like there were people on the other side. And the bathroom was outside. And you're in this enclosed camp. And Nancy and I went out to go to the bathroom. They do give you bedpans if you get nervous. Well, Nancy and I were like, we're not scared.
Till you got halfway out
you grew up. I mean, not you grew up, but you worked with Joy Adams, lived in a camp and attended camp and all that. But Nancy goes in the bathroom and leaves me standing out there with a flashlight. And I hear this big roar. And let me tell you, you will pee in your pants.
No,
you will.
No, but if you
will. Penny was right there.
It was right there, and you could see their eyes glowing.
I'm just saying.
In the dark, but they really, there was a big tall fence between us, so they're not going to jump the fence.
Dude, he was right there.
I know.
And then you came out and you went to the cabin and left me.
No,
but in the next morning, this was classic. The people next to us obviously did not want to go play with the lion. So they, at 4 a.m, before anybody was up, you could hear them. Now, this is nuts, right? If you're going to sneak your pee-pee chamber pot, you don't just splash it outside your cabin. Go flush it down the toilet. No, they're not walking their chamber pot because they wanted to get rid of it quickly.
Oh, they're scared to walk out.
So we heard the chamber pot.
Do you remember that?
I do, because I always thought it was one of the funniest things ever. I was like, it's like sneaking your pee. I don't know. But anyway. Is this where we're going to go with this podcast?
I don't know, but pee? It's seriously.
Oh, but a lion pee. You can smell lion pee.
It was about 30, 40 feet from the cabin to the outhouse. And then there was a chain link fence and barbed wire to protect you. And when you walked to the outhouse, you could see their eyes. That was pretty cool.
What did you learn the most about lions? Because I know when you were working with Joy Adamson, and it was right before she got murdered, you were doing more with Penny the leopard and different, but you learned a lot about lions.
Oh, I had them in my backyard.
Well, yeah, that was a rescue effort. That was a not having lions as pets, just, she was taking care of them. A rescue thing. But, so I did grow up a little bit with lions in my backyard. But what do you think people should know about lions that they don't know or understand if you don't live with them or around them? Because I think they're incredibly beautiful, powerful. The women, the males have got those grand manes, but the females are badass hunters.
Well,
huntresses.
Okay,
is a huntress or a hunter?
Don't ever consider any wild animal as a pet,
Ever.
ever, especially lions. And if you get one and you think you've tamed it, don't turn your back on it, because you have not tamed it. It's just waiting for the moment.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, that's what
But
I
they
know.
don't they have like a fingernail in their tail or something? I remember you always talking
Oh, they
about
have a little claw. It's
thank
a
you,
hereditary.
claw, duh.
Yeah, it's not a fingernail. That's funny. But some lions do hereditarily just still have a little claw at the end of the tail. And so I read this and I got intrigued with it. So I took care of so many different lions. I'm like, let me look at your tail. And they really don't like you to look at their tail. They're like,
No.
what are you doing back
Yeah,
there? So you had to be careful. But it's you had to.
Did you
But
find one?
Yes, I found 3.
Oh, on one?
No, on 3 different
Okay.
lions, but most of the other lions didn't have them. So,
Oh.
and the 3 who had them were all male.
Wow.
But
See?
it was like, but they're like a little short thing, like a cat's claw.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I'm telling you, we're sitting here with 2 dogs who are not enjoying stormy weather, but they're not interested in anything to do with cats.
Well, they
other
are
than
interested
the-
in food.
Well, they're the
mostly.
sweetest dogs and chilled out, and then as soon as they see a bunny on the farm, they turn into completely different animals.
Well, yeah.
That's the wildness,
It's the
right?
chase.
These are cat. Oh, by the way, August 8th is also Tarantula Day. And tarantula
Oh, I
spiders
love-
are
Ooh,
cool.
They're way cool.
They are cool. We've seen them all through Arizona and stuff, and people freak out if I'm posting my tarantula
I think
videos.
they're the only spider who casts a shadow.
Don't
'cause
they?
they're tall.
Remember that one? We were in Buenos Aires
Ah.
National Wildlife Refuge.
Oh, man.
It's in Arizona,
That freaks
and Nancy
me
and I
out.
were hiking, and Nancy's the Bundu Basher. I mean, she's we're both animal wildlife people we do stupid things. We put ourselves in places that we probably shouldn't half the time, but
Not really.
nothing bad ever really happens.
Exactly.
I mean, well, anyway, both of us should be dead now from snake
Except
encounters,
for you have to
etc.
learn to
Spiders.
use your brain.
Been charged
free.
by animals and all kinds of stuff, but
You just sidestep.
that hiking, no, just sidestep. Nancy turned into a little girl. She was hiking, and I was looking at I was photographing. I think it was when all the fried egg, cowboy fried egg flowers, the prickly poppy.
Oh yeah.
Were all in bloom. Beautiful,
Yeah,
beautiful
they're
flowers,
awesome.
man. It's like just gorgeous. Look at that prickly poppy. I think we call them cowboy fried eggs.
Yeah.
In the Southwest, because they look like that. They've got such an orange glow with these beautiful, crinkly white flowers that are poppies, But all of a sudden I hear Nancy, she's behind me, and I hear her go,
Yeah.
and I was like, what? When did you start talking like that? Like, what's that? And I turn around, and she's like, that. And I'm like, what do you mean that? And I look
Stepped on
down, and there's this ginormous,
thing.
I mean,
It was huge.
massive.
It was bigger than my
tarantula.
foot.
Then we're like, oh, cool. And I go to photograph. Nancy's like, you need to get down with it. I'm like, I'm not getting
You have
down.
to get down on the ground.
They will bite you. They do have fangs, but they're not going to
They
kill
do
you.
have fangs.
But
They do.
I don't want to scare them. That's the thing too, is to have to be respectful to the wildlife
but if
when
you
you
don't have to
photograph.
get like within 2 inches of it. But if you get down, then you can photograph them, and it would be really cool if you got the fangs in the photo.
Well, I didn't do that
I
that
know
day.
you-
I'm very sorry, but
No, but they do have fangs, and then so from an evolutionary point of view, how many spiders have fangs?
Okay, but speaking of evolution, August 12th is World Elephant Day.
Yeah.
And it's also Milkman Day. I think this is funny because there was always that, how do you know if an elephant was in your fridge, that he left paw prints or footprints in the butter?
It's a milkman.
I don't know, but there's a lot of people who like Milkman if they're bored.
I guess.
Anyway, it's also National Bowling Day.
That's funny.
Garage Sale Day, International Youth Day. We love that.
We like that, yeah.
But most importantly, as equally as important as World Elephant Day is Vinyl Record Day is August 12th. And over the years of all these musician interviews that we do, and we do so many, it's a passion project. and I'm just happy to hear just about every single, I would say 80%, 70 to 80%, definitely over 50% of the musicians we interview, their albums will have a limited vinyl edition and different colors. They get to choose them depending on what label they're with or if they're doing it themselves. It's very expensive to do.
Yeah.
And I think I want to give a shout out to Jack White.
Cool.
Because of Third Man Records, he started the vinyl coming back. Some old school good stuff. And people are starting to really invest, and other musicians are coming on board with their own vinyl labels. And he's right. He's like, come on to the big record companies like Capitol Records and stuff. If they started doing it, it would even out the cost, because right now there's really no profit in it. So it is like this genuinely amazing piece of art that makes us all slow down and, put the needle on. But
there's a warmth. Like if you compare a song on a vinyl record to the same song on a CD, you can, if you really stop and listen, don't watch TV or walk and talk or clean the house during it, you just listen. There's a warmth to the vinyl that it's not on the CD. And I'm not saying the CD is bad.
No, but actually there's even there's a warmth on the CD versus everything being streamed. There's different, put your headset on, but the vinyl is like setting the ambiance for listening. It's like I'm going to listen now. It's not just in the background. It's like going to a concert and actually putting your phone down and get the musician photos.
That's what
I get
I'm saying.
it.
You've got to sit and listen.
It's a listening thing. And, I know we all, when we go to concerts, want to photograph the bands, and I say go for it, man, because it's like photographing wildlife. It's freaking fun. But
I think you should photograph their shoes.
But it's just
they
listening.
got creative shoes on.
I just dig the listen. I think when you put a vinyl on, it's like, all right, we set the tone. We're going to listen. Have your favorite beverage or whatever you want to do.
People used to sit around before television and listen to records.
Well, Memphis has that whole thing. Milton Howard's been on our show. I'm gonna have to link this in now. Memphis has a play. We need to go to this. I want to do this. It's in the bottom of a hotel or something. It's like a cocktail lounge with separated rooms where you and your friends go in. They bring you your cocktails, and it's a listening lounge where they play whatever vinyl record you want. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm in. I love that. But let's go to elephants. Nelly the elephant.
I love elephants.
Elephants.
They're so cool.
Related to Dassies.
Oh yeah, that little
rock hyrax.
Dassie is like a rock hyrax.
It's like a marmot. It's like a marmot, a mini marmot.
It's kind of it's a little rodent.
This is an African elephant.
But the Dassies have pads on their feet like elephants. Mm-hmm. So scientists say they are distantly related because no other rodent has the pads on their feet like the Dassies that matches the DNA of an elephant.
Oh,
which that's kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
So this little kind of rat grew into this elephant over years and years and years.
Nelly.
And now the elephant has the same pads on the feet that the Dassie has.
Well, the elephants, we watched a documentary and interviewed the filmmaker about a year and a half ago. And the documentary, again, I don't have notes because we're sitting in this little storm thing, whatever that is out there. It's called Elephant Refugees, and shows how these elephants and this resort in Botswana survived together during a insane drought, where the elephants would go and take water out of the the toilets, and there was no such thing as a pool, yet the tourists want the pool. And it wasn't like a 5-star resort. This was like a camping bush resort. But they also showed people coming in their tents because they wanted to see the elephants, and the elephants would walk in between the tents at night and never hurt or touch.
No, they don't.
The people, they
don't.
But then we've been charged, and we've had an elephant literally up against our car pushing it.
Yeah, that was interesting. Well, we were in the way. She wanted to cross the road.
Yeah.
But there was a cliff on the other side, and she would just kind of nudge the car over, and it was kind of amazing that she could push our car with our trunk at least 2 inches. And I'm like, okay. Because I was in 2 minds. Do I back up?
Yeah, what do
I
you
go
do
forward?
at that point?
Because I thought if I start the engine, she could just push us right off the cliff. I wasn't sure if she could or couldn't.
It's
So it was like, okay, I'm gonna wait it out, and then eventually she swung around her trunk for a while, then she got bored and moved on. But it was like, whoa.
well, watching the mother elephants to me have always been like the mommy and the babies, and how they are like when we hear the word matriarch, there's monarch, matriarch. I really look at elephants as being like the head of it, the women. And you'd see little babies, and then they'd have to cross rivers with crocodiles, and the crocodiles go after the babies. And like the mothers were like,
no,
screw you, crocodile.
Yeah, I've seen them slap their trunks on the water to scare crocodiles away. Like they slap their trunks and they make a big slapping sound, and then the crocodile goes, "Okay, I really don't want to mess with that."
See, now
it's awesome.
I would love to go to India and be dropped off in the park so I could see Indian elephants in the wild. And I know, our Stacy Wittig went to Thailand, and she volunteered at a sanctuary for the elephants. And elephants right now, even in Myanmar, we've done so many interviews on elephants. I'm going to have to dig them out in the archives and link them up. Link it up. That's what they say in South Africa, apparently. Link up. All right, so we've got elephants. We've talked about cats and lions. Books. This was the other thing. August 9th is Book Lovers Day, which is a good thing since we have 2 author interviews on the show, which is that airing that day. One is middle grade book, and one is a young adult novel. So both deal with topics that are timely, hardcore topics that are always shunned away back in the day. Hey, do you know Sid Ballman's book got banned at a bookstore in Texas? His book Algorithms got banned in a bookstore. Apparently, I saw something about that on Instagram. Sid Ballman Jr. is incredible. He's the author of the 7th Flag trilogy. He's been on our show for each book of the trilogy. But he was a national security journalist, correspondent, and he flew with presidents. He's done like over 20 years. He's been all over the world, really doing national security, and understands radicalization and all kinds of crazy stuff.
I don't understand why we get banned.
He's been there, seen there, done that. And if you read his novels, you're going to go, holy cow, Batman. And his novel, he's a fantastic writer, especially because he comes from being a journalist.
I can't imagine why.
But Algorithms, we're in that era, but weird. I can't believe we're even banning books. So Book Lovers Day.
That went out in the 30s and 40s.
Apparently, bras are they going to ban bras just now? Maybe, because look what's happening to women's reproductive rights. Just now, they're going to say no bras. No, I'm okay with that. I don't want to have to wear one.
They're not going to ban bras. They're going to ban not wearing bras. I guess. I don't know.
Oh, gosh, everybody has to have a control issue. Anyway, going back to Book Lovers Day, books are, whether you're reading them on a Kindle, listening on Audible, or, all those different things, or getting the hard copy, which is still my favorite. It goes back to vinyl. See, that's it. Listen to music. Pour yourself a good cup of tea, Oh, my gosh. Rainy days. Oh, that's the thing about fall is coming. Fall is like the best book reading
and
month.
Hopefully there'll be some rain.
I hope so, depending on where. So there's Book Lovers Day, but August 14th is Love Your Bookshop Day. And I think that's a huge importance that we support independent bookstores across the country. Unless you ban Sid Ballman's book, then I think you suck. But
yeah, really.
If you ban books, that's just stupidity. But anyway, I know I'm going to get emails about this, but anyway, books and bookstores. And then there's places like bookshop.org that when you purchase books through them online, it acts like Amazon, but it's the opposite of Amazon in that money does go to actual bookstores because that's where everything is coming from. So it's a really cool project that started out of the UK. And when you travel too, it's so cool to see bookstores go in, especially bookstores that have used books. Like Powell's bookstore in Oregon.
Oh gosh, that was fun.
We were always in trouble. I can't go to Powell's.
We filled up that whole shopping cart full of books, and we got the checkout
they have vinyl.
Stand, and we were like, we can't even put all
thousands
in the car.
And we're like, what are we doing? On the road. Yeah. What are you doing? But then it's like Amoeba Records and places like that. Bookstores and vinyl go hand in hand. Do not want to leave out that it's also August 14th is National Code Talkers Day.
I love that.
Very important. U.S. Victory Day.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of Code Talkers Day, August 12th is International... Nope, it's not... I got it wrong here. Excuse me, I have to read my handwriting, and that's really dumb. August 9th is International Day of the World's Indigenous People. They're the ones who have been protecting our land, and, let's have some respect for their land of where they live.
They got the value of the land firsthand because they lived on it, cultivated it in a responsible manner. And then here we come, and we're going to do monoculture and big farms and...
They knew farming. I mean, if you learn from the Native Americans, they knew how to do water filtration systems, waffle gardens, all kinds of cool stuff.
Because they lived with the nature, studied it, and
and mimicked.
How to use it.
Mimicked.
They used it without killing it.
Mm-hmm. One of the coolest places we went, Santa Fe, New Mexico, is really cool. There's Bandelier National Monument, and they showed how the Native Americans filtered water, and they showed also the waffle gardens, these traditional gardens, and we also saw that in Palm Springs somewhere on one of our trips there. Mm-hmm. And also in the rail yard, there's a rail yard. It's in the railroad park in Santa Fe, New Mexico, where they took this, brown space and made it a green space.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
The rail yard, I think that's what it's called. And it's a depot, and they have all these demonstration gardens of what you can do, plus the historic artifacts from the railroad itself. So it's pretty interesting. You can take these places that also are toxic chemical-wise. Rail yards are not necessarily the cleanest places to be.
No.
So when you can see, make positive change like that, it's awesome. But we do not want to leave today's podcast without mentioning August 14th is World Lizard Day.
I love it.
We love lizards. Here where we are in Arkansas, we see these skinks.
Yeah.
These bright blue lines. Oh, wow.
That was a little thunder.
I suppose here we are.
Yeah,
it's getting,
storm.
well, there's the,
No, but okay, one of the best things is iguanas.
Oh, remember we saw them when we were in Florida. Yeah.
And that one in the tree, and then he just fell out of the tree.
Well, that's when it gets cold.
Yeah, and there was a cold snap. And the iguana that I've been watching for a couple days just fell off the branch. And I'm like, do I pick it up? Because they do bite, but they're not going to kill you because it's not teeth, but they got little ridges on their mouth that do. I've been bit before, so it's...
But it's not like it's not like a snake.
So you pick it up, and then you're like, okay, the thing is...
You're not supposed to pick up wildlife, Nancy.
Whatever. I was going to put it back up. Then you have to warm it up so it can cling to the branch. So, it's like, what do you do? And I just want to see if it needs help. Did it die when it fell? Because it fell like 10 feet or more.
It's when and they're not native of Florida. It's just how things have happened.
I don't know how that happened, but
they are. But the actual lizards, I mean, the Southwest, I love it because we had those collared lizards, and you can see them. They get bright blue, and they're like frogs with their little chins going in. Yeah. And chameleons. You got to think.
Gila monsters.
Would a chameleon be considered a lizard? Do you think?
Anoles. Yeah, they're
anoles.
Lizards.
Oh, I love anoles.
They're lizards, the same family, but they are lizards. Now, Gila monsters,
well, Gila monsters are crazy.
But
they hurt.
Still lizards.
Yeah. And there's a Gila monster, but there's other ones that came up. We had chuckwallas that in the desert.
Yeah.
Remember that one on your window?
The wall. That was funny.
No, Nancy turned around. She was working on her computer. Yeah. And there's this big chuckwalla on her window just looking in at her. And she's like, dude. But that's the cool thing about the deserts. It's the lizards. And sometimes you don't know if it's a snake or a lizard. You're like, what? And but I love the lizards, man. I think lizards, and they are so good for your garden.
Oh,
they eat bugs. They are awesome. Geckos. I love geckos.
They eat insects that you don't want around. They don't eat the good insects so much. Yeah. They do have a thing about...
They eat mosquitoes.
Yeah.
Lizards and geckos are cool. Don't hurt them.
Don't hurt them.
And I think they're amazing how they lose their tails. Like, here's a bit of me and screw you, I'm still alive, and off they go.
Oh, it's like,
and the tail
watch
keeps
this.
wiggling.
And then the tail grows back.
However, International Cat Time, like Cat Day, how many cats bring you the lizard? And it's like they don't even eat them. They just like,
No, because
let me kill them, bring them to
skin-
mommy and daddy, and let them still wiggle.
When the cat takes a lizard, the skin of the lizard immediately emits like a foul-tasting chemical. And then the lizard's like, I'm not eating you, but I'm glad I killed you because it was fun.
Yeah.
Because that's their personality. You moved, I killed. And, they still have that little vestige of wildness that they need to keep. And then the lizard maybe will live or maybe not, depending on what the cat did to it. But there is that thing, and there is that toxic for other animals, that toxic part of the lizard skin.
And then, of course, you can't leave out the Lizard King himself, Jim Morrison. We're going to have to put that in the music playlist. And he also the peace frog, because we're talking about frogs too. So, sorry, the frogs get in the conversation.
He was
so
in the reptile zone.
I think we've done good, and we've got Prosecco too in this,
Prosecco and reptile.
Sounds good to me. Thank you all for listening to I was going to say today, but this latest episode of Big Weekly Blend. Keep up with us at bigblendradio.com. Our Big Weekly Blend magazine comes out every week as fast as we can turn it around, depending on our travels as we travel the country. And like I said, this is our last one for now in the Boston Mountains of Arkansas. Next podcast, we will be at Tiffany's Bed and Breakfast outside Hot Springs, and maybe we can get Tiffany and Bob to be on this podcast. But I know we are going to be doing another interview with them because they are one of the main destinations for the eclipse next year. Awesome. So we're going to be talking about that. So stay tuned for that. And everyone, have a wonderful week. And if it is your birthday this week, we wish you a wonderful and happy birthday. Celebrate. Eat that cake or whatever it is that makes you happy.
Outside,
maybe it is the filet mignon.
No, just go outside, dance in the moonlight.
Why not? Hey, Perseid meteor showers are supposed to happen this week too.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I don't think we can see them because there's a storm, but but yeah, if you can get out and see the stars, my. Yeah. So anyway, have a wonderful, wonderful week, everyone. Take care.